What's up, guys? My name is Agent Psycho, and this will be the third episode to my Exploring the Arsenal series with me, Agent Psycho. And I hope you guys enjoy the gameplay, because it's quite nice, in my opinion. If you guys think it sucks, then, well, that's your opinion, I guess. Anyways, we'll be covering the M4A1 Desert Warrior for this episode. First off, I'd like to start off this episode by telling you that the M4 Desert Warrior is statistically and practically no different from the GP M4A1. So unless you want to plan on spending like what is it? You do the math. What's the how much GP does it take to get the M4A1 permanent? And by the way, I do have gameplay from 3 different games that transition in and out. There's not much transition because I suck at editing, but I did get kicked from the first game, and the second game finished up in like 2 minutes, so I had to play in 3 separate games in order to get the gameplay for this video. But honestly, I think it's gonna be excessive because I really don't have much to talk about the Desert Warrior anyway. No, I could make up what to talk about for the Desert Warrior. Anyways, we're getting sidetracked. So the Desert Warrior, like I said, is statistically no different from the GP M4A1. Like I said, if you want to get the M4A1 permanent, but you don't want to spend the NX for it, I suggest you try to get it permanent through like the GP means. I believe if you buy something for like 1500 days or more, Nexon considers it a permanent weapon by that point. So you can literally have like the permanent tag on your GP item or whatever it is that you want to get for GP permanent. So you might as well do that. If you're too impatient or too poor on GP to do that, then well, I guess you can buy the M4A1 perm or buy an M4A1. I don't think you can buy the M4A1 perm straight off the bat from the Arsenal anymore. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they took it out. I think they scrapped it, but that you guys can figure out for yourselves. In any case, you can always just buy an M4A1 and then renew it until you get it permanent. Anyways, but. So in practicality, it really is no different from the M4A1, though I feel like the rate of fire is kind of reduced on the Desert Warrior, if anything. Of course, that's just my opinion, and also for all 3 of these gameplays, I did customize the M4A1 Desert Warrior, all of them for level 3, so I customized it I maxed out the customizations for this gun, so it may be because of that, I'm not too sure, but it's been some time since I last used the Desert Warrior, so I could be wrong. But it does perform well on par with the GP M4A1, so in all honesty, getting the Desert Warrior is going to be a waste of your NX because you could just buy a GP M4A1 for 800 GP a day, and it still works the same thing. It's the same thing. The damage is the same, the portability is the same, rate of fire is the same. Recoil is the same, weird lag there for whatever reason, and yeah, everything is pretty much the same. Even Nexon says so, and in-game, the recoil spread, the ammo capacity, all the things that Nexon doesn't tell you, they're all the same. The only thing different, obviously, is the camo. It has a sandy goldish camo, so I mean, if you really care about having that kind of gold gun feel, then I guess you could get this, but in all honesty, having the camo is just like an extra thing, you know? You don't really need to care about it, and it's not really all that important, unless you're unless it kind of caters to your kind of style of play. Like, obviously, because it's called the Desert Warrior, it'll work well in really daytime-ish sandy maps like Sandhog, go figure, and Junk Fleet like this one. So I don't know, it's just your choice. I don't really recommend getting this because, I mean, you can always buy the M4A1 and it'll give you the same results, pretty much. Most of the time, at least. But I would like to go into the customization aspect of the M4A1. But before I do that, though, there was one thing that I wanted to mention, and that is that, let's see, what was it again? The M4A1 does have a, what is it? Sorry about that pause, guys. I thought I had forgotten to say something about the Desert Warrior, but then it just seems like it was a false alarm. I don't know what in my head these days, but anyways. Moving on to the customizations aspect of the Desert Warrior. Because the M4A1 is pretty much the same thing as the Desert Warrior, you can customize both the Desert Warrior and the M4A1. Sorry for that brief pause there. And But I have, if you guys pay attention to my videos before, you would know that I have the M4A1 GP version default. Because back in the day when Nexon had the ability or had the option available for anyone to switch out the M16s for like a GP standard gun such as the M4A1 or the AK-47. The list wasn't that big, but you could still have that option. I switched mine out for an M4A1 because I thought it was great. But the problem is there's a bug with that because Nexon hasn't enabled the default M4A1 to be able to be customized. So I can't customize my own default M4A1. However, because the Desert Warrior is pretty much the same thing as the M4A1, I customized that to see how well it would perform. And the results tended to be actually quite interesting. What I found with the Desert Warrior customized, I customized everything, the accuracy, the damage, and the rate of fire, all the way maxed up to level 3. What I found was that I'm dropping people a lot faster. It feels like the damage really helps out for the M4A1 and the Desert Warrior at that too. Normally on guns, other guns that I customize the damage on, it really wouldn't make that much of a difference. But for Desert Warrior, man, it makes a difference. I feel like it takes at least 2 bullets less to kill someone on this alone. That may be an exaggeration, but at least a bullet less to kill someone. That's pretty significant, especially if you're in a tight battle and you just one more bullet will make the difference between your death or their death. So the M4A1 is really worth customizing, guys. Even though it is kind of hefty to do because if you don't spend any GP, you only have a 50% chance of successfully customizing your gun at each level or for each aspect. And seeing that it costs like 20 customization parts each, it's pretty heavy on the cost side of things. But it is worth it if you've got like the Desert Warrior permanent or you've got the M4A1 for a very long time. It's well worth your investment in this. If you guys are wondering if the recoil is the recoil pattern and the recoil spread is changed at all, because if you do buff up the accuracy, I believe the recoil takes a hit. I'm not sure, but that's what I remembered by customizing other weapons. Also correct me if I'm wrong. But in my knowledge, the recoil also takes a hit. In the case of Desert Warrior, the recoil isn't affected at all, pretty much. The spread is nearly identical. I did notice that it does have a slightly bigger spread. But it's not significant enough to affect your close quarters combat capacity. So you don't have to worry about the recoil screwing things up for you. The accuracy, I haven't really had the chance to test this out at long range, but the M4A1 is accurate enough at long ranges that you don't really need to worry about it not being able to hit headshots from really far away. I believe in my next episode covering the SOP mod, I have gameplay of my Desert Warrior managing to pick up a headshot over at Sector 25 when I was picking off heads, shooting at snipers camping over there at their spawn. If you guys know what I'm talking about, you guys will see what I'm talking about. If you guys don't, once I release that video. So it's very accurate. So you don't really have to worry about the accuracy too much. You don't have to customize the accuracy because of that, but it's always nice to have more accuracy than that. And now for its rate of fire. For some reason, I don't feel like the rate of fire did anything. If anything, like I mentioned before, the rate of fire got reduced. I don't know why. It may be a subtle difference between the regular M4A1 and the Desert Warrior variant, but I don't know. It could just be me. I tend to have strange feelings about certain guns at times, so I could be wrong, so don't take my word on it. But anyways, guys, it's about to be end the video, and as I get a nice comeback clutch on this one-man army all-arms game on Junk Fleet. Once again, the Desert Warrior is pretty much identical to the M4A1, and it is well worth your time customizing. Once again, guys, hope you guys enjoyed, and